So, like everyone else, I like Souls games. I find their respect for player intelligence and unapologetically difficult bosses very refreshing compared to other stuff. I just finished Elden Ring's expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree, and I have some things to say. This is gonna be quick, like lightning quick. I'm just gonna give you some thoughts rather than doing an entire playthrough like my other reviews. Since I know a lot of people started a new character to get to the DLC and the game is like 100 hours long, it's gonna be almost completely spoiler free, for the sake of people like them. You'll get one spoiler for a new weapon and a tiny vague spiel about the final boss, but that's all you'll get from me. There's not even going to be footage from the DLC. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I already put my save file into New Game Plus before I decided to make this video. The good. The environments of Shadow of the Erdtree are absolutely some of the best in the entire FromSoft catalog. Lush green forests with gorgeous lighting and plant life lead into utterly fascinating and otherworldly fantasy landscapes. The enemies that are brand new are great, but there are some repeats. There was bound to be with an expansion of this size, can't really fault them there. The level design of the caves and tombs builds on the already excellent approach to dungeon crawling that existed in the base game. There are even brand new weapon categories, which I think is a FromSoft DLC first. Feel free to correct me about that. And they're all snappy and fun to use. Also, the Great Katana's light attack string is exactly the same as the longsword attack chain from Monster Hunter World, and you can't convince me it wasn't an inspiration. The characters encountered throughout the world while exploring all have their own aspirations and moral compasses. They all have utterly gorgeous armor designs too, and I think the quests would make this good experience even better if it weren't for the bad. Once again, FromSoft completely ignores the objective improvements in questing that Western games have made in the last 2 decades, making following quest lines in Shadow of the Erdtree without an online guide frustrating and convoluted, if not almost impossible. It's possible to have clear and concise quest lines that players won't miss out on entirely if they play the game regularly without combing every inch of the overworld, searching for an NPC before fighting the next major boss. FromSoft just refuses to iterate on their broken system. Some people find it to be a rewarding challenge to search high and low just to progress a single quest one stage, and to those people I have to ask, you do realize that our time on this earth is limited, right? There are also a couple of areas that feel less than exciting to explore due to some questionable design decisions that I won't get into for the sake of spoilers. If you know, you know. The expansion unfortunately concludes in a disappointing boss fight. The use of a familiar face rather than something totally new for the first phase, and an over-reliance on flashy particle effects and massive AoEs in the second phase makes for a challenging yet ultimately unfulfilling finale in my opinion. Strengthening Slave Knight Gale of Dark Souls 3's The Ringed City DLC as the objectively best Souls-like boss fight, and you can fight me about that one, but you'll have to go through Gale first. All in all, Shadow of the Erdtree gives you a great bang for your buck. I didn't think $40 USD would be worth it for something that isn't an entire game's worth of content, but there is easily 60 plus hours of new stuff here if you're keen on exploring and discovering everything. There have been complaints about it being too hard, but that's just game journalists being game journalists. Are you guys new here? It's extra premium content for a game that's already hard. You should have expected to get your ass handed to you over and over again. It's tradition for expansion content to be a good amount more challenging than the base game, and that is certainly reflected here. Shadow of the Erdtree extends an already unforgettable experience a good amount, and it provides a healthy challenge, even though it can be overwhelming at times. Just take a deep breath and remember that you paid $40 for this. You have to beat this boss. The ghost of your money demands it. Alright, that's all I have to say about Shadow of the Erdtree. Thanks for tuning into this teensy tiny review. Stay hydrated, and make sure you're getting enough fiber. Okay, see ya. Also, for the love of fucking God, FromSoft, do something different with your goddamn camera. Your third-person camera and lock-on system has been outdated for nearly a decade, and it hasn't changed an iota. Sekiro was a step in the right direction, but come on. So many other games have better cameras. Look around you. Oh wait, you can't, because your camera is terrible.